The law is clear that the manner in which a defendant is brought before a court does not strip the court of its power to try the defendant. The judge is not going to let Maduro go free because the arrest involved cruise missiles.
But first, from captured to court, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro appeared before a federal judge today. How he pleaded and his words to the judge. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us for CBS News Texas at 4. I'm Karen Borda.
And I'm Ken Molestina. Maduro and his wife were in New York for their first court appearance after their dramatic capture over the weekend by U.S. forces.
CBS's Jared Hill is outside the federal courthouse with details on the proceedings and the expected legal challenges going forward.
In shackles and prison garb, deposed Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro appeared in Manhattan federal court. "I'm innocent. I am not guilty. I am a decent man," he said through an interpreter, adding, "I am the constitutional president of my country." Sitting with his wife, Celia Flores, they each pleaded not guilty to 4 federal charges, including conspiracy to import cocaine and machine guns and conspiracy to commit narco-terrorism. Outside, hundreds of demonstrators gathered, some arguing against U.S. action in Venezuela, others celebrating Maduro's removal. U.S. forces captured the pair in Caracas early Saturday morning. President Trump expressed complete confidence in the move.
The case it's infallible.
Maduro hired attorney Barry Pollock, who defended WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange. Legal analysts say that he could try one key argument to get this case thrown out.
Well, Maduro's defense is certainly going to argue that he gets absolute immunity as a head of state.
David Ehrenberg, a former state attorney in Florida, says while the legality of Maduro's capture will be debated in Congress and the United Nations, in the courtroom, it won't matter.
The law is clear that the manner in which a defendant is brought before a court does not strip the court of its power to try the defendant. The judge is not going to let Maduro go free because the arrest involved cruise missiles.
Maduro and his wife agreed to remain in custody, but Maduro's attorney hinted at a future bail application. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
So far, President Trump hasn't offered many specifics about running Venezuela in Maduro's absence, but has made it clear that the U.S. will play a significant role. Venezuela's Supreme Court has appointed Vice President Delcy Rodriguez as acting president of the country. President Trump says he hasn't personally spoken with Rodriguez yet, but told The Atlantic that if she doesn't do what's right, she is going to pay a very big price.
I don't have to tell you. I just say that she will face a situation probably worse than Maduro, because, Maduro gave up immediately.
Trump administration officials are briefing some members of Congress about the Venezuela operation today, even as some are questioning the president's legal authority to carry out the raid.
I believe it's an illegal action because we're not supposed to be at war without a vote of Congress. They need to tell us why it's a smart thing to do.
Russia and China, which are Venezuelan allies, accuse the U.S. of violating international law. The UN Security Council convened a meeting for today. Major U.S. airlines are flying, to and from the Caribbean again after a weekend of serious disruption prompted by the surprise U.S. attack on Venezuela. The FAA closed the skies over much of the Caribbean Saturday, impacting more than a dozen airports, including flights to and from Puerto Rico, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and Aruba. Many Americans were stuck in the region as a result, including the Crane family, who won't be able to return home to New York from Puerto Rico until later this week.
We've continued to search frantically to try to get something, even if it's small groups, break us up into smaller groups. And we found a flight for our eldest daughter, who's 18. We found a flight for her Tuesday, so she can go home a day earlier. For right now, one person's getting out Tuesday. The other 4 of us are booked for Wednesday.
Altogether, more than 1,100 flights were canceled due to the military action in Venezuela. Airlines are now adding service and using larger planes to try to get the remaining passengers home. We will continue to stay on top of the developments in Venezuela, so be sure to keep your eye on CBSNewsTexas.com for the latest updates. Remember, we are streaming there 24 hours a day.
One of the largest corporations headquartered in Dallas is leaving the city. AT&T announced today the company will build a campus for thousands of its workers in Plano. As you can imagine, the news is great for Plano, but what about DFW's largest business district? Our Steve Pickett is there.
The central headquarters for the nation's second largest telecommunications company is right behind me. The leaving of this company from downtown Dallas has become essentially a barometer on the business future of downtown. About 6,000 people are part of the global headquarters for AT&T's Ackerd Street offices. The company spent millions crafting their restaurant and entertainment center here, known as the Discovery District, as a tourist and visitor destination site for downtown. But today, AT&T leadership announcing their plans to build a new corporate home, a telecom campus in Plano, joining a growing list of companies like JP Morgan Chase and Toyota. The move announcement seems to create impact for the community that AT&T is leaving. That would be here in downtown. The mayor of Dallas, for example, issuing this statement, calling Dallas a global power force that attracted AT&T to downtown 18 years ago. The mayor saying $27 billion in new development has come to the city in the past 6 years. And he said more is on the way, including, for example, that new Goldman Sachs campus not far from the heart of downtown. I spoke with former Dallas City Manager Ted Benavides. He told me today, yes, a loss for downtown with this move, he says, but current living and business expansion in downtown Dallas essentially softens that loss.
I think they made a business decision that's best for them. You know, they used to be in St. Louis. Then they went to San Antonio. Then they came to Dallas, and now they're supposedly moving over to Plano. So there's a lot of things wonderful about downtown. There's more people down there, people living down there. There's great. I went to a restaurant the other day on Elm Street, and so it's still got a ton of life. But you just need to stay competitive. You need to keep looking at yourself and say, am I doing everything I need to be doing to keep us going?
Again, what you see behind me may be leaving, but it will take at least a couple of years. And many city leaders are reminding us there is expansion in downtown Dallas, some of it meaning more employees are coming while AT&T is leaving. In downtown Dallas, Steve Pickett, CBS News Texas.
Now to a developing story. Jury selection is getting underway today.
This is happening in the trial of a former Uvalde police officer who responded to the deadly attack over at Robb Elementary. Adrian Gonzalez is facing 29 counts of child abandonment and endangerment. Gonzalez and former Uvalde Schools Police Chief Peter Redondo were among the first on the scene back in 2022. And they are the only two officers to face criminal charges over the slow response. Now, the details from the investigation say nearly 400 officers responded to the scene, but it took 77 minutes for them to go inside and kill the shooter. According to the State Review, Gonzalez told investigators that once police realized there were students still sitting in other classrooms, he helped them evacuate. Prosecutors say Gonzalez failed to engage, distract, or delay the teenage gunman. 19 children and 2 Texas teachers were killed in the attack.
Now, Gonzalez does deny any wrongdoing. The charges against him carry up to 2 years in prison if he's convicted. The trial is being held in Corpus Christi and is expected to last up to 3 weeks. Our Amelia McGavro is headed there and will bring you live reports starting tomorrow. A trial for the former chief, Arradondo, has not yet been scheduled.
Oak Lawn is known for its vibrant LGBTQ community and its strong sense of neighborhood pride. Today, that pride was focused on the rainbow steps in front of Oak Lawn United Methodist Church as the City of Dallas Landmark Commission held a hearing to decide whether they comply with city code. Our Nicole Nielsen is joining us live now outside City Hall. And Nicole, the meeting today, it took over 3 hours to come to a conclusion. What was said?
Yeah, you know, so many people showed up and spoke in support of these steps today, truly dozens filling the room for a decision that ultimately does allow the steps to stay. But this did not come without some emotion. Now, for some background, the steps were painted in response to Governor Greg Abbott's directive to remove rainbow crosswalks under federal and state road safety guidelines that prohibit markings not related to traffic control. The church says painting the steps was not an act of defiance, but an expression of faith and solidarity with the LGBTQ community and submitted a request to keep them. City staff recommended approval with conditions, but a task force subcommittee of the Landmark Commission recommended denial, citing city code that requires painting to match original material colors. After hours of speakers voiced their concern today, commissioners voted to approve the rainbow steps with conditions allowing them to remain for 3 years before the issue is reviewed again. Reverend Rachel Griffin Allison called the decision a win.
It really fills my heart that it's a sign of something good happening. You know, there's so much that is distressing about our world right now, and it's great to have some good news. You know, good for the community to be able to look at this and say, see, we are seen.
Now, she had asked commissioners to consider making the steps permanent, but says that she's just happy at this point that she gets to revisit the issue again in 3 years. Reporting in Dallas, Nicole Nielsen, CBS News Texas.
All right, Nicole, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Still to come here at 4 o'clock, people wanting to lose weight now have a cheaper option to do it. How much you can expect to pay for the new pill version of Wegovy that is now available to Americans.
And the Cowboys are cleaning out their lockers as their season comes to an end. The decisions from the front office that will soon have to be made.
And I'm tracking the end to a dry streak and the chance for some rainfall as we move into this week. I've got the details in my full forecast coming up.